This is the story of a man who may have saved the world by doing absolutely nothing. It's the early hours of September 26, 1983. Deep within a heavily guarded Soviet military compound, alarms begin to scream. Red lights flash. A satellite has just detected the launch of a nuclear missile. Its origin? The United States. The alert level is maximum probability. Protocol is clear. The officer in command must report it immediately. What happens next could unleash thousands of Soviet warheads, trigger a US counterattack, and plunge the world into nuclear war. But the man on duty that night doesn't follow protocol. His name is Stanislav Petrov. South of Moscow, a minibus rolls through the forest, carrying a quiet man to work. He's not even supposed to be there, just filling in for a colleague on the night shift. His destination? Serpukhov 15. Officially, this place doesn't exist. It's not on a map. It's hidden behind tall concrete walls and layers of security. Inside is the Soviet Union's early warning system, codenamed OKO, meaning the Eye. A high-tech network of satellites and computers designed to detect nuclear threats. And that night, the Eye blinks red. The world in 1983 is a pressure cooker. Since the late 70s, both superpowers, the United States and the USSR, have been escalating. The Soviets deploy medium-range ballistic missiles in Eastern Europe. NATO responds by doing the same. Ronald Reagan has just become president. He announces a sweeping military buildup. He even publicly questions if America could win a nuclear war. To the Soviets, it sounds like preparation for a surprise attack. They respond with Operation RYAN, the largest intelligence mission in KGB history. Agents are told to look for anything suspicious: mass blood drives, sudden political travel, spikes in military chatter. They even track supermarket food deliveries, anything that might hint a war is coming. Just weeks before the night of the false alarm, a South Korean passenger plane strays into Soviet airspace. Fearing it's a spy plane, Soviet fighters shoot it down. All 269 passengers die, including Americans and a US congressman. The West is furious. The Soviets dig in their heels. The air is electric with paranoia. This is the world Petrov walks into as he begins his shift. Midnight passes quietly. Then 12:15 a.m. The sirens blare. The satellite has detected a missile. Target: the Soviet Union. Stanislav Petrov jumps into action. He grabs the microphone. "Everyone to stations. Follow my orders. Check all systems. Report status." This is not a drill, and he's trained for this exact moment. Petrov is not your average Soviet officer. He's not a hardened ideologue. He's an analyst, an engineer, a thinker. He helped build this very warning system. He knows how it works, and more importantly, how it could fail. He knows what the computers are good at and what they're terrible at. And something about this alert feels off. Why would the US launch just one missile? It makes no sense. If they were really going to start a nuclear war, they'd go all in, hundreds of missiles, thousands of warheads, all at once. That's the logic of mutually assured destruction. Whoever fires first dies second. So why one? Why now? Petrov orders a systems check. No malfunction, no glitches, everything confirms threat is real. But there's no radar confirmation, no visual confirmation from ground-based sensors. Nothing outside the satellite sees a missile. Still, protocol says he must report it. Then, things get worse. A second missile appears, then a third, a fourth, a fifth. The computer updates the alert level. Missile attack in progress. This isn't just a warning anymore. This is war, at least according to the system. Petrov's colleagues freeze. Every eye in the room turns to him. He is the highest-ranking officer present, and what he says next determines everything. Petrov knows one thing. Machines are tools. They're not perfect. They don't understand context. They don't have instinct. He built this system, and in his gut, he doesn't trust it. He thinks, we built this machine. We should be smarter than it. So he takes a deep breath and tells Moscow, it's a false alarm. Now, all he can do is wait. 17 minutes. That's how long it would take a US missile to reach Soviet soil. He watches the radar, monitors the skies. His hands tremble, but he hides it. His career, his life, his entire country, everything hangs in the balance. And then, nothing. No explosions, no shock waves, no warheads. Petrov was right. Later, investigators uncover the truth. A rare alignment of sunlight and high-altitude clouds caused reflections. Those reflections mimicked the heat signature of missile launches. The satellite misread them. It was a glitch, an accident, a near apocalypse caused by sunlight and software. The system worked, technically, but without Petrov's judgment, it would have triggered a global catastrophe. You'd think such a man would be hailed as a hero, but Petrov wasn't awarded. He wasn't thanked. He was reprimanded. His superiors criticized him for not logging the incident properly. He explained, I had the phone in one hand, the radio in the other, no hand left for paperwork. They didn't care. A year later, he quietly left the military. For a decade, he told no one, not even his family. He worked at a research institute, lived quietly, cared for his ill wife. After her death, he lived alone in a small flat near Moscow. No honors, no pension, no monument. In 1998, a German journalist read a tiny note about him in an old Soviet military magazine. The story slowly began to spread. Eventually, Petrov was invited to the UN. He was given the World Citizen Award. Journalists from around the globe wanted to meet the man who saved them. He was humble, reluctant. He hated being called a hero. He said, I was just doing my job. Anyone in my position would have done the same. But the truth is, most wouldn't have. In 2017, Petrov died. No announcement, no headlines, not even an obituary in Russia. A German friend called to wish him a happy birthday. His son answered, Father passed away a few months ago. Only then did the world find out. More than 40 years have passed since that night, and still the threat of nuclear war looms. Many disarmament treaties have been abandoned. Superpowers are modernizing their arsenals. The doomsday clock now sits at 89 seconds to midnight. Closer than ever. The lesson? You can build the most advanced systems in the world. Satellites, algorithms, protocols. But when everything is on the line, you don't want a machine. You want a person who can think, a person who can doubt, a person who can say no. Someone like Stanislav Petrov.